Broadcasting live, this is KMA Talk Radio, life, liberty, and the pursuit of fine cigars. With your hosts, Honest Abe and Adam K. the Brewmeister. Listen to the show anywhere in the free world at KMATalkRadio.com.
I like to smoke them like some Winston Churchill, like John Kennedy, yeah. Remember Coach Red Auerbach, smoked up for victory, yeah. Well, you can take my wife, you can take my car, but you can't take my big cigar. My cigar, yeah.
Good morning, loyal listeners, libertarians, lovers of the leaf, everyone out there in Facebook land. Welcome to another exciting edition of KMA Talk Radio. I am Adam K. the Brewmeister. On this, the wonderful almost end of July, and we have no idea what's going to happen next. Did you guess that perhaps, a squirrel would have the bubonic plague? I didn't, but guess what? Hey, it happened. With me, as always, the man, the myth, the legend himself, Mr. Honest Abe. Hello.
Good morning, everyone.
And still live in New York, it's Paul DeGracco.
I had to race here this morning because I realized I was at my parents' house for 4 or 5 days, and because we try to mix it up so not everybody has all of us in the same house, for the whole time.
So
and
they
I
don't
realized
feel like they're neglected or anything? You're not leaving anybody out?
No, and I think
So basically what you're saying is if you got the virus, you want to make sure you pass it on to every different member of your family.
Well, they're all in our circle now, so the family's
Okay.
in our circle. But we had to rate. I thought that the internet would be fast enough at my parents' house, but their upload speed is not fast enough. Their download speed is super fast. So I guess here at my mother-in-law's, they have a different plan or a different service or something. So I was like, oh God, we have to go. So we had to pack up the kids, the dogs, and race over here.
Why didn't you just leave yourself?
Because we were coming here anyway. So we figured we had enough time, so we raced over here with everybody. I was a gentleman. I got everybody packed up, and here we are.
Oh, yeah, that makes you a gentleman. You pack kids in your car. Huh? You packed your kids in your car.
I did, and I packed my whole car, all by myself.
There's some joke here I'm missing, but I don't know what you said.
I think it's because it's not really a story, so we don't know what to say.
You're right,
yeah. I packed up my kids and I went to my mother-in-law's house this morning. That's the exciting story.
After I left my parents' house,
yes,
and I had to bring my 2 dogs, and I had to get everybody in the car, and we ended up not going to Wally World and go on any of the rides.
It kind of sounds about right.
Yeah.
Held up a guy with a gun, with a BB gun.
Mm-hmm.
Are you coming back anytime soon?
I'm planning to.
No definitive date yet?
No, we have a tentative date to come back. We do a family trip with Stephanie's father's side of the family, with her dad, her brother, her sister, and us to his cabin in upstate New York. It was canceled this year because of the COVID, but now because they do, I guess it's the Delaware County Fair or the Dutchess, I don't remember what county they're in. So it's a big doing up there in the middle of nowhere. And we decided now we're all just going to go there and hang out at the cabin with the kids so they can enjoy the great outdoors and be secluded from everyone else but each other. We've all been in each other's circle anyway at this point. So we're going to probably do that and possibly leave from there, depending on what it looks like in Florida, or come back here for another week and then leave. But we got to get home, man. I mean, it's as great as it is having family here to take care of everything. I got a house. I'm paying a mortgage on a house for almost 2 months that we're not using. Pay the water bill.
Don't worry. I'll clean up after this weekend.
Dude, I would listen. If I didn't have cameras in the house, I would suspect that one of my buddies would be there. But I have my house on lockdown.
Throw a house party. I need to ask Adam about the intro because I didn't hear anything about this. I don't know if it was one of Adam's off-the-cuff statements or it's legitimate news, but there's a squirrel out there with bubonic plague.
Oh, yeah, no, it was in Colorado, yeah. Colorado, a squirrel had bubonic plague and was tested. Why they were testing a squirrel for bubonic plague, I have no idea.
This shit can't be real.
No, it was out there. It was on CNN.
I mean, who's catching a squirrel to test them for bubonic plague?
Who's catching a squirrel and testing it to begin with?
I mean, I don't know. I mean, look,
so
I don't
what does that mean if the squirrel has bubonic plague?
I have no idea. But I just saw it as a news statement this week.
It's the next pandemic.
Yeah. It's the next dumpster fire to get added onto and dumped into what is 2020. So there you go.
Oh, boy.
Well, I mean, listen, it's really, I mean, it's really the state of what reality is nuts. It really is. I mean, we had 16 people come in here on Wednesday night, in our Boynton headquarters, and basically at little after 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and they kicked everybody out of the shop and shut us down.
Why?
They say we're in violation of something. The lounge can't operate. And meanwhile, as we pulled in this morning, our parking lot is completely full, and there's 30 people in this little gym, this little CrossFit gym or whatever it is, hybrid gym, all running together, working out together. But the 5 people that were in my lounge having a cigar is a menace to society. I don't know where this is going to end. And, you say fight it. Do something about it. But I mean, all I know is that, look, the liquor company have huge lobbying groups, right? And they're powerful. And their bars, their main source of revenue, have been shut down since February. No one's making a stink. I don't get it. No one's making a stink. I mean, no one's even talking about it. They're just it's nuts. It's nuts. But it felt like a weird state of affairs. I mean, literally, like, there were some police officers, sheriffs, a guy from the zoning area, and they basically came in and shut us down. It was like a movie, like martial law.
Jeez. And they don't have to give you a reason. They just say you're in violation.
They gave us a reason, but it's all about interpretation. So now our lounge, we could do cash and carry, but our lounge, no one can sit in our lounge and have a cigar.
I didn't know that actually, like, passed again, that they said that you couldn't do that.
It's changing every week, Paul. A couple weeks ago, we had an email from the Department of Business and Professional Regulation here in Florida that basically said, you're fine as long as you've got 50% capacity and social distancing, you're fine. Then the county changed it where you can't serve alcohol past 11. So we started closing at 11. Then they said you couldn't sell alcohol at all. So then we closed the bars. Now they're coming in and saying no one could sit in the lounge. And we had people come up yesterday who found out they couldn't sit in the lounge and left without making a purchase. And I don't blame them. They got nowhere to smoke. It's too hot to sit outside and have a cigar right now. They can't go home. They wanted to come to a haven.
Smoke a cigar there, yeah.
So
I literally had a guy yesterday come up to me while I was getting some water and said, "Hey, can I get a cappuccino?" I'm like, actually, no, I can't give you a cappuccino, and you actually can't stay here. And he literally said, "Oh, well, I guess I have to go put this back."
Well, I hope the word "I'm sorry" came out of your mouth when you were talking to him.
I was like, I don't know what to do. I mean,
no, you can't stay here. Go home.
Sorry.
I can totally see Adam saying that. Go home. No,
get out of here.
No cigar for you. Yes. No cigar for you. Yes.
I was on the dojo last night with the boys.
Dude, I was watching. Did you end up having a drink or not? I couldn't watch the whole thing.
We have no bar. We close at 8 o'clock.
Oh, right. Okay.
I was the only guy in the building for an hour when that show started. Yeah. No. So, but it was always good to see the boys. And honestly, I tell you what, they're really good people. I mean, throughout my career, a lot of people have done many great things for me. And, you pass it forward as things go by, and you always try to do things and extend your help to people. And Eric said some really nice things about how I helped them get launched and how I helped them create their first, the whole dojo series. And it's just good to hear somebody say that.
I heard him talking about that. And
yeah, I meant to text him this morning and tell him I really appreciated those kind words.
He's given you a lot of props, though. I watched the show quite a bit. He's given you a lot of props over the time.
He called me one of his mentors. I feel bad if I'm one of his mentors.
Are you that much older than him? I don't. Maybe. I don't know.
He's older than me.
Is he?
Mm-hmm.
Eric's older than me.
Wow.
He's got a grandson. Are you kidding?
He's got more than one grandson, doesn't he?
I only know that Jordan's got one kid. That I know.
Jordan has one kid.
That would be it.
Yeah.
But yeah, they were talking about the new Dogma release next Thursday.
Ooh.
So
Have you
it's
smoked one?
Yeah. You see that box?
There's 3 missing.
So, yeah, it's actually a pretty good cigar. So, that live event, their national launch, is happening next Thursday night, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. There'll be a live broadcast with Jonathan Drew, Ann Fan, Joe Groh, Matt Leitner, our team, and the guys from the dojo will be there. And we're just going to have a live virtual party. And then there'll be actually a big selling event with some awesome raffles. If you guys want to check out the packages and more information on what's going on, just go to smokein.com/dogma, and you can see a lot of the cool packages that'll be available. None of them are for sale until 7 p.m. next Thursday night.
Wow. That's cool.
Yeah.
Adam, have you smoked one?
I have not.
Hell no, I won't give him one.
I'm not special enough. Sorry. Yeah.
Totally accurate.
Well, speaking of good cigars, we should bring on our special guest today.
The buck himself.
Yes, absolutely. KMA Talk Radio is pleased to welcome back the man himself from JSK Cigars, Mr. Riatevski. Welcome back, buddy. What's going on?
Well, thanks for having me, guys. I don't know if you guys were watching me. I could have said something like as we were talking, but
they wouldn't have heard you on Facebook, but we would have.
Okay. I just wanted to ask Paul if that was like a casting couch behind him or something.
Listen. I'm pretty sure Paul has sat on many a casting couches.
I don't want to talk about this.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you don't want to talk about it, Paul.
So, it's just, Riste, when was the last time you used the slide behind you?
There's a broken piece right there.
Mm-hmm.
So not too long ago. My kids use it every day. They're actually like one of my kids right now is like staring at me through the window, like waving. I told him he can watch Daddy work today.
That's a nice setting you got back there behind you, man. Pretty open field.
Yeah, my family ended up buying a couple of these lots way back in the day, and I built a house here about 10 years ago. So it's like my neighbors are Macedonian, my other neighbor's my first cousin, my aunt and uncle lives on the street. So
it's like little Macedonia there.
It is. I mean, you might see my aunt walk by and drop off like zucchini she did yesterday, from her garden. So,
that's awesome.
A little community out here. Yeah, it's pretty cool. I make cigars and moonshine and wine, and my other cousin makes beer, and my other cousin makes wine. So it's like when I throw a party out here, it gets pretty wild.
I wanted to bring it up. I mean, like I thought about it yesterday. I was like, can I get him to show me a picture of the still? Where is the still?
The still is at my father-in-law's right now.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm sure he doesn't want to implicate himself or
right. What still?
Is it a copper still?
Not a big deal.
Here's an illegal item I'm showing you right now.
Is it a copper still?
Yeah, it's a full copper still. It's a 10-gallon copper still. My father-in-law actually had made in Macedonia. And it's a cool story about it because he shipped the bottom base, and he took the head on the airplane with him. They asked him customs, what is that? And he just told them it was a flower pot. So when he got back from Macedonia,
he carried it on.
Yeah, that was his carry on. It was the head part of the still.
Wow.
Now, Riste, are you first generation American?
Yeah, first generation born here, Macedonian American.
So you were born here, but your parents were born overseas.
Correct.
Wow, that's awesome. Well, it's cool because it's nice to see that the Macedonian culture is still strong, because usually, when we get, it got a little weak with me. I mean, I'm first generation, but I'm still more culturally adherent, and I'm trying to instill it in my kids, but it's just so much harder as the generations go by. I mean, we just, want to try to keep the best elements of your culture,
Yeah. No, I try to teach my kids everything. My kids can speak full Macedonian. My daughter can probably write better than I can. I can't read or write Macedonian.
Really?
Yeah, it's just I never learned it.
Yeah, I can't read or write Arabic too, so I feel but I can speak it, but I can't read or write it.
Yeah.
Huh.
Wow.
How many people in the world speak Macedonian? It can't be very many.
A lot. I mean, if you look back in the day, like, people speak Macedonian in Nepal.
Do
because
they really? Okay.
Yeah, when Alexander the Great went and conquered, half the world, people grew up Macedonian in other countries, and you can still see on YouTube, like, their second language is Macedonian.
I mean, because it's kind of like I have a friend from Finland, and she married my buddy that's American, and he's learning Finnish. But we did research on it. Less than 4 million people in the world speak Finnish. And I was like, if you're going to take the time at 30 years old to learn a language, maybe learn one that more than 4 million people speak. Learn Spanish, learn there's still
Anybody
so many...
can speak Spanish.
No, I know, especially when you live in South Florida.
Man, that's Finnish.
Does your friend drink or no?
He does, yeah.
Is he a hardcore drink? Then he's learning Finland too. Because I drank with some guys from Finland. There's some hardcore drinkers, man.
Oh, but there's nothing else to do. 6 months out of the year, you're sitting in snow, and half days. It's he doesn't live there now, but he's been there many times. He loves it there, but I don't know. It's just one of those languages that you're like, oh, I guess. But they all speak Swedish and English as well. You'll never meet a Finn that doesn't speak English, because they can't communicate with the rest of the world. But that's an interesting language.
Also, is the number one place if you ever want to go in a sauna.
That is true.
Yeah, sauna experts, yes.
I was in a sauna with a guy from Finland and Sweden, and it got to like 190 degrees, and these guys are talking drinking. I'm just thinking about surviving. Wow. To them, they're like, oh, look at the pussy American had to step out of the sweat box. It's like,
they don't mess around with sauna.
It was legit. It was legit 190 degrees, and I'm like, how do you guys do this? And they're like, oh, we sit in here for hours. Made no sense.
How did that story start is where I want to go back to.
How did you end up there?
Yeah.
So, last year in September, I did a tour through Sweden, and there's a town called like Odenberg outside of Stockholm. Mm-hmm. And I had an event at one of the guys' houses, which is like on a big farm, and I had the event in his garage. And he goes, after the event, you want to go to the sauna? I'm like, fuck, I'm in Sweden. I might as well go to like a legit sauna.
Yeah.
So I was like, yeah, let's do it. Mind you, I didn't know how big the sauna was. It was maybe 6 feet wide and like 4 feet across. And, I'm 260 pounds. The guy next to me was probably 350 pounds. And my importer, Martin, sitting next to me is, a 6'9" Swedish, 160-pound white guy. So it's like we were literally cheek to cheek sitting on his bench,
Oh, wow.
That's usually how it is, yeah.
But I was committed. I told him before the event, we started drinking, eating, it was like, he goes, hey, I fired up the sauna. It's about another hour. So I'm thinking, sauna, whatever. I opened a door. I was like, all right, this is going to be interesting.
So my question here is, how much alcohol is required before cheek-to-cheek sitting with another male becomes acceptable?
Quite a lot.
I was going to say, how much were you drinking that night?
There was no eye contact in the room, I'll tell you that. It was cool. Here's the crazy thing. So I legit called my wife. I was like, babe, I'm putting a sauna in the fucking house. And she's like, no, you're not putting a sauna in the house. I'm like, listen, I'm sitting in a sauna, and this guy built his house around his sauna. That's
what they do,
sauna was.
Yep.
But at the end, he's like, hey, we're going to have sausages. And I'm thinking, all right, cool. And it's like, this is 3 a.m. He goes, instead of just letting the heat dissipate from the sauna, we wrap a bunch of sausages and put them on the coals. And in 45 minutes after, we eat sausages after we sauna. So I told her, I'm like, I'm cooking sausages in a sauna, and I wanted to put this in my basement. Or I'm probably going to put one in my backyard, like a house or something with a sauna.
They use a steam sauna, right? Not a dry sauna.
Steam sauna. Steam. Yeah.
Yeah,
they don't walk in.
Coals.
Yeah, they don't walk in until it's 165 degrees.
Riste, did you in Sweden? Do they do the brush lashing like with the leaves?
No, we weren't lashing no one with leaves that day.
in Finland,
Paul wants to be lashed.
No, in Finland,
you totally want to be lashed.
No, I do not. In Finland, they take a bunch of leaves and they lash your back with it to open up your pores. So you beat the crap out of everybody else before you go in. You beat the crap out of your back. or somebody beats the crap out of your back, you beat the crap out of somebody else's back, and then you go into sauna so that you can open up your pores. There's some wild stuff going on around the world, man.
I would like totally like whack the crap out of somebody and then be like, all right, I'm leaving. See ya.
No, I mean, it was a cool thing. It's just like, why not experience it,
Sauna is amazing. I've never done it with like hardcore sauna folks
these guys do it 3 times a day. They sauna before breakfast.
3 times a day?
Yeah, man.
What is the reasoning? What do they feel it's doing? Prolonging their lives?
From what I understand, it prevents and rids 40% of ailments in humans.
Yeah.
You literally just
toxins.
Detox.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of them have it in their offices, in their houses.
When I got out of the sauna and I smoked a cigar right afterwards, it felt like it was the very first cigar I smoked in my entire life. Like, legit. And I probably had like 10 that day, just touring around, at the event.
You guys are inspiring me now to put a steam sauna in my house.
Dude, you should. I'll come hang out, man.
What's up, buddy?
I mean, when I used to play football, that was part of our regimen, like every day, right? Working out. But I never thought twice about it after that. Hey, pretty girl.
Say hi.
Wait. I got your, what happened to your teeth?
She lost 2 of her teeth.
I know. My son's toothless in the front right now. It's hilarious.
And she had one hanging for like 2 weeks. I was just trying to pop it, just like poke it, and she wouldn't let me, and it finally just fell out.
You know what's amazing is how monumental it is at that age to them that they're losing a tooth, right? It's like the work. Like I come home, and Paul, you haven't experienced it yet, but wait, man.
No.
I come home from work and it's like the news of the day. I mean, they come running, Daddy, guess what? Big gap.
So here's a question: what does the Tooth Fairy leave your kids, Riste? What did the Tooth Fairy give her for those teeth?
I was gonna bring that up.
Nug, man. What do you think? They wake up to a nug under the pillow.
She lost her tooth at my mom's house, and I didn't know until the next day. And she came home. She's like, "Daddy, the Tooth Fairy didn't give me no money last night." I was like, "Well, the Tooth Fairy doesn't know you're at your mom's house last night, or or grandma's house last night." So I keep it simple. I just give her $1, $5, $10.
Abe,
I feel like I got a quarter.
I got $1.
We're $5 now, I think.
Yeah. So
$5 bill.
My wife, she has a half sister that is 12, and when she was growing up, she got $20 a tooth. I'm like, that's like $500. That's crazy.
Yeah, I don't want my kids knocking other kids' teeth out for $20. My kid's a little entrepreneur, so you know what I'm saying. I don't want a bag of teeth coming home from school.
Yeah, they'll be finding teeth everywhere.
I'll share a funny tooth fairy story because listen, I love my wife's always got so much going on, but it's been known where a couple days go by before the tooth fairy shows up. So there's always the backlog story. They're busy, they're coming. And now my oldest is involved in the game. She'll be like, "Mom, don't forget, give it to, I'll go do it now," or whatever. But it came to a time where I had a conversation with my daughter, and she's like, so Mom's a tooth fairy, huh? This is a couple years ago. So I'm like, what makes you say it? She goes, I don't know, kind of obvious, right? Tooth fairy doesn't show up for days, and I hear Mom creeping around upstairs, and all of a sudden money shows up, whatever. I'm like, okay, so listen. And I sat down, I said, now this is an important stage in your life, right? Because these thoughts of tooth fairies and stuff, it's very, very important. So now you're part of the group now that helps protect that secret and let your brothers and sisters grow up and enjoy that moment, right? So you got to keep the secret from them. There's, you can never tell them there's no tooth fairy, there's no Easter bunny, there's no Santa Claus. And my daughter goes, Santa Claus is not real. I was like,
jumped the gun on that.
I'm like, how could you realize the tooth fairy is not real?
They don't put 2 and 2 together. Yeah.
Oh my God, I felt so bad. She was crushed for the day.
How old was she?
10. It was a couple years ago. 10.
How old were you when you found out? I was really young because of my brother.
I remember, dude. I mean, it's a half a century ago.
I was 7 or 6. My brother told me. He's like, "Hey, do you know the Santa Claus secret yet?" I'm like, "What?" He's like, "Yeah, Mom and Dad."
You see, I mean, I was the oldest, so everything was organic. I didn't have that somebody breaking news to me. You probably got traumatized that day. You remember it for 30 years later.
Oh, yeah.
But I busted for my oldest daughter that Santa Claus wasn't real. I'm never gonna forget. It was terrible.
She's going to talk about that story for years.
Oh man, I just figured she put it all together. All right.
We might have to be careful. Are your kids still around, Riste, or have they gone
got
off?
Oh no, they walked back inside. They got a pool party to go to.
He's got headphones on. They can't hear us.
All right.
Yeah,
So
they can hear me.
I want to talk about stuff that, because Riste is very, very active on social media, and he has rocked the boat a little bit in the industry, I think, over the last couple years, in a good way, and some in the industry think maybe in a bad way, right, Riste? I mean, you wouldn't.
Riste's a James Dean of the cigar industry.
I've been called a prick or an asshole a few times by a few people in this industry.
I mean, no, he's literally one of the bad boys, if not the bad boy of the cigar industry, which is not a bad thing.
No, it's not, and I think it has helped
you, man. That's it.
I think it's helped you. And Riste, I want to ask you though, do you think it's purely because of the purists that don't want to see the Nugs type cigar with the CBD oil in it, or do you think it's your demeanor, or what do you think it is that rocked the boat with some of the old school cigar guys?
Most of these, I would say the CBD part, yeah.
Okay.
But then the crazy thing, I mean, there's a huge company making a CBD cigar right now, and the guy called me. He's like, "Ours tastes like shit compared to yours." So it's like, I think it's the fact that I beat some people to it who already had a process.
Right.
And then just the fact that like, what you see on me right now live is what you get, at the meeting table, at wherever. I mean, I do my own thing. It's just like I don't. My story is my story. I don't change it when I'm online, and I don't change it when I'm in person. It's like I just walk to my own tune. I know I've worked corporate America, Fortune 100 companies. I work for the government doing IT stuff. So like when people look at me and they're like, "Well, who's this? Where did this fat fuck from Hebron, Indiana, come into the cigar industry?" And then they start looking into my background. Like, all right, well, he's actually pretty fucking smart.
Yeah, so, you have an extensive background.
Expect that.
And you left a pretty prominent job with doing what, internet security?
I still do internet security for the government. So the county I live in Indiana. So Indiana, when the whole crypto stuff or not crypto, but the viruses and hacking went on about 6 months ago, I'm proud to say that the county I spearhead on internet security was one of the 5 counties in the whole state that did not get compromised.
Oh wow!
And then like my job assessment, they brought in a third party from actually Purdue University came in and assessed my network to see why we didn't get hacked, and then he told the board, he's like, listen, you don't think that you got bypassed. The people you have working here are the reason why none of your guys' banking information got taken or stuff like that. So, I mean, I've been doing that since my whole life.
Okay.
I'm a nerd. I don't look like a nerd, but I'm a nerd.
Hold on 1 second. Why would you think you don't look like a nerd?
I mean, when I tell people what I do, and they're like, "Nah, I would have put something else."
The Macedonian beard automatically nullifies your ability to look like a nerd. To carry that beard, you can't be a nerd, right? I mean, is that a Macedonian style? The beard, no mustache. I know it's an Abe Lincoln thing, but is that a?
No, the beard, no mustache is my wife. She always says, "Shave that thing off your face." My mustache.
Really?
Yeah.
It's a unique look. Very few people carry it. Very few people carry it, so it's definitely.
I fucked up one time and I cut in too close to my sideburn, so I got rid of my sideburn and I legit had a neck beard at one point.
Oh wow!
So I don't think I've been clean cut shaved since probably 2002 or 2003.
Wow.
I pretty much, outside of a couple times where maybe for Halloween or something, but I've had a beard since the day I graduated high school.
Yeah, pretty much.
I mean, I went to a Catholic high school, so we couldn't have facial hair. So I mean, literally.
So you rebelled.
Well, I mean, I used to try. Listen, I used to have this game I played where I'd let it grow out, so Friday I could go buy beer, right? But like you'd have to really like be careful because you knew the teachers that were really like on the lookout for facial hair. And then the dean caught on to me, man. He would start looking for me on Fridays, and they send you down. They will pull you out of a test. They will send you down to the office. They would have this razor from 1970 in there, just disgusting. no shaving cream, and they would make you shave before you go into that. But so then I got smart and started carrying like extra like thick razors in my pockets in case I got busted. But yeah, I want to talk about what Paul mentioned about, you know, kind of going against the grain. But you got to remember, what Riste's going through is not really the first time in this industry. That's the same thing that Drew Estate and Jonathan Drew went through, right? When they first came out, they had a bad stigmata for a long time as the not legitimate cigar. I mean, look where they're at today. You know, so you know, and once again, this goes to what I always say: the consumers are who we answer to. They set the standard. So no matter what the industry thought of Drew Estate or Acid cigars, the consumers wanted it, and it sold. And it was embraced, and look at the company became today. So, you know, the industry could, you know, maybe not acknowledge your company, acknowledge it, look highly upon it, look down upon it. But at the end of the day, the consumers will dictate, and you obviously have a strong fan base.
I mean,
what it was
Abe always says, go ahead.
I mean, what it was like from the get-go, like, people were like, okay, now you have to do this now, and then now you have to follow this, like, cookie-cutter plan route that everyone has this idea of how a cigar brand or how a cigar should be marketed and sold and this and that. And I'm just like, I'm going to do what the fuck I want. You know what I'm saying? So I did what I want to do. You know, when I came out, I was direct to consumer. I mean, I was from the factory floor to your door. You know, that was my motto. And people hated me for that. And they saw the sales were going on. And now there's some brands that are doing that now where they went to shops and now they're going direct. You know, it's just like, but I caught a lot of flack for that because like, no, you can't do that. You have to sell to the cigar shop, and they have to sell to the consumer, and that's how this industry works. Like, I'm an analytical numbers guy, you know what I'm saying? And if you're looking, if I'm starting my business and I can make a bigger margin to help build my pop for my company, I'm going to do that first, you know what I'm saying? Right. And then I transition into, you know, stores 2 years after that. You know, I mean, I can see why some brands like fall off, because if you don't gain traction with shops off the bat, I mean, who are you going to sell your cigars to? You're just going to look at them, you know? So I kind of created like, I wouldn't even say like a fan base. Most of the people I know firsthand, I call it like a giant JSK family, you know? So, I mean, when they actually were asking me, like, listen, like, start going into shops. I want to go to my local shop, buy, you know, one red night, you know, when I'm there, I don't need to buy a 5-pack every time from you. You know, so that's when I started moving the gears into that. You know, I created the pockets all over the U.S. and the world to where when I went into shops, you know, I really didn't have to, like, yeah, they knew, you know, I can pick up a JSK here now instead of, you know, online. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I mean, it's a cool ride. I love it. You know what I'm saying?
Now,
but I mean, just like every day, you get good emails and bad emails every morning. You know,
right? When Nugs was born, do you own a piece of a CBD company, or you know somebody that runs a CBD company? How did those two things come together?
So I'm one of the first registered CBD companies in the state of Indiana. Okay. But to say first, to the point where some people in the government said I had insider knowledge of why I incorporated my company 3 days before it came legal, and Indiana was going back and forth. And my response to that lady who questioned me on that is, it cost me $700. I took a $700 chance. You know what I'm saying? That's, you know, I decided to do that and start that. So Who's Your CBD is my company. So I was doing, you know, I have a lot of like direct to consumer, you know, the tinctures and the gummies and stuff like that. But then I got more into selling manufacturing bulk products. You know, I started selling the isolate and everything like that. And then the CBD into the cigar thing was this, I tell this story. It's just me and my buddy were disc golfing. I disc golf a lot. You know, that's like the only exercise I can get. And I normally, you know, smoke a cigar, take CBD. And my buddy is like, it would be cool if that CBD was somehow incorporated in that cigar, so you don't have to carry two products. And I stopped. It literally is like a epiphany. You know, it's like I have two companies. I can put this in place. Like I have the resources and manpower to do this. Right. So 2 weeks after that happened, I headed to the lab in Colorado with a good friend who runs it. We sat down and, you know, it took about a year until like I was going to make that announcement. I'm doing a CBD cigar. It's just the research and development behind it was so hard. Like I didn't want to sell someone a cigar that's, felt like a sponge because people think I spray the cigar with isolate and, stuff like that. So it's, I mean, when you smoke a nug, you don't know if there's CBD really in it. It smokes like a premium cigar, which it is.
And the process itself is something that, now correct me if I'm wrong, because I saw your announcement on social media the other day, or maybe a couple of weeks ago, that the patent pending was approved for.
Yeah,
for
so
your
I
product.
have a.
I just muted my mic. What's up, dude?
No, you didn't.
How you doing? Middle of my show.
Abe, you're still live.
Hold up.
Abe, you just muted the.
How long's your daughter's practice?
This companion
All
to
right.
something.
Can't believe she's got practice.
Hold on a sec. I'm gonna unmute him on the feed.
Fuck, you're gonna leave before I get off the show.
Okay, he's muted.
There
Go ahead.
we go.
Continue.
So, fuck, I don't know where I was at.
So the process. The
Well,
patent
yeah.
pending.
The process. So the process is
Patent
process. I have a non-provisional that I filed and was approved. I have a patent pending status on it, and the non-provisional lets you, instead of going the full route, spending the the $10,000 to $15,000 to get the full patent,
Right.
you can do a non-provisional or a provisional. One of the two is a year patent, and then within that year, it's still a secret document that you can apply and do the full one. So the first part only costs like $800.
Okay.
So I mean, if you're going to spend $800 or like $15,000, I spent the $800 to see if it's possible. The full provisional patent, the one will be locked in for 20 years. I got the paperwork yesterday. I'm finalizing that Monday morning, and I should have the full patent on it like in September or October.
And the patent itself is for, I mean, you posted it, so it's not like a secret. Flavorings for tobacco other than essential oils, namely cigar flavorings containing water-based CBD, blah, 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 there's a whole bunch of other stuff
But you got to
on a dry weight basis.
0.3% of THC.
Oh, is that why? Okay.
Yeah, so
So
that 0.3 is a huge factor of my next cigar that I'm releasing, the marijuana version of that cigar.
that's the purple
I
band?
technically own the rights to use CBD and THC in tobacco.
Really?
And the whole patent process is the day it leaves the factory from the packaging to the lab, to the infusion process, and back to get shipped out. So the whole entire patent covers the logistics side, the packaging side. I mean, we made a needle that doesn't exist on the market that we use in the cigar that doesn't clog or tear apart the cigar when we put it in there.
Right.
So I mean, the needle head is patented, the packaging is patented. The solution that goes into cigar is patented. The way it's cooked and, refined is patented. It's, my buddy told me, he's like, you should really kind of Loctite, put an ironclad on what you're doing. And so I took his advice, and it's just another bunch of money you got to spend to do that. But
right.
I had one guy told me, he's like, that's a pretty good IP, intellectual property on there. I was like, well, yeah. And I told him, cut me a fucking check and I'll tell you what I do. That's just how I am. It's like there are people making CBD cigars right now, but I mean, I'll put mine against anyone's, and mine is to the point where they would get to that point and realize this is the only way it works to make it a scalable solution.
Right.
Mine's a very scalable solution. I can make it anywhere in the world. I export them to Australia, Malaysia. I'm talking to a company in Germany that wants to learn the process so we can cover the EU. So, I mean, it's interesting, man. And the fact when I say it's a premium cigar, I think that's when the old timers are like, that's not a premium cigar.
Right.
Mm-hmm. That's where people get pissed off in the industry when I say Nugs is a premium cigar. It is. I mean, it's not, a junk short filler cigar. It's long premium tobacco. Even the blend to work with the solution of CBD, what we use is blended that way. If you smoke the cigar with no CBD in it, it's almost like 99% the exact same. I mean, it's just different characteristics come out when you put the CBD in.
And you don't get the CBD effect. I mean, I enjoy the I smoke mostly the 20 milligram, but I'll smoke a 100 milligram once in a while, especially if I'm having a real stressed out day. I mean, I'm not a huge CBD user, but I have used it in the past, so I kind of know what the small effects are of it, and I do.
I smoke one every day.
Oh, wow.
What do you smoke mostly? Do you smoke the 20 or the 100?
I'll smoke a 20 when I wake up, and depending how I feel at night, I'll smoke 100.
Okay.
There's some days where I'll smoke 400 or 500 a day.
Wow.
You know.
Wow.
It's just
And you
depending
take
how much
CBD oil as well, right?
Yeah, I have my own isolate. I make my own strengths based on what I want.
So you briefly mentioned you're into disc golf. How often would you say you play the disc golf?
Oh, fuck, I played 36 holes yesterday.
Oh, wow. So I have to ask,
when I came to Florida, I disc every day, and then I did a Smoke Inn event, and then I disced every day after that.
Really? So wait, where did you go while you were here in Florida? Did you go, because I could have given you recommendations.
I mean, we're in Florida. I played in Tampa. I played in
Tampa has some great courses.
Yeah, Semiluna Heights. I play out there. Maximar is real good. Toto Toboggan is real good. Tampa's a really good spot for disc golf.
Oh yeah,
can claim those courses up there. When I say I disc golf, bro, I disc golf. Like when I try, I played every event I do. I usually play a round of disc golf if I'm there a day before and a day after.
Oh wow.
Where do you disc golf?
So how many holes in ones do you have? I have to ask, because that's always
one. I just have one hole in one. And it was pretty fucking cool. I usually disc golf with my buddies, right? And so no one can play, so I'm like, I'm going to go solo, right? And it's a local course here in Portage. Very, very well known. We have a lot of good disc golf courses in the Midwest. And I get up there and I throw it, and it goes in. There's no one to see that I just legit did a hole in one, right?
Oh, no.
But the cool thing was, there was a guy probably 60 years old in his car in the parking lot. He got out of his car, started screaming. He's like, "That's fucking awesome," you know. I told him, "There's a marker. You got to sign it because my friends aren't gonna believe it, dude." So I have a hole in one with some random straight old guy that signed it and verified it for me.
Oh, thank God somebody saw it, or else you'd have guys like Ronnie telling you, it never happened. It happened in a dream.
Yeah. Exactly. Ronnie could be there and still say it never happened.
Oh no, that happened to my buddy Christian too. He got a hole in one playing ball golf, was by himself, texted everyone in our friend group like, "I got a hole in one." We're like, "Yeah, right there." He's like, "No."
Wait, so I don't know disc golf at all. So do you? Are there there's targets where the hole would be? Do you play at a regular golf course?
No.
Yeah, it's not. There's a basket with chains. I have one in my yard over there.
Okay.
Oh, dude, he's got his own basket. Of course, he's a serious.
I've been trying to convince my neighbors to put a 4 or 5 hole park out here, between the houses. Because they started getting into it too. Because I mean, the biggest thing is it doesn't cost $30 or $50 to play around with disc golf. It's 99% free.
Yeah.
It's just there's different discs for different flight patterns and distances, and it's
but
the exact same as golf.
Are there set up golf courses that are just for disc golf?
Yes.
Yeah. It's the Midwest, Florida, Kansas, North Carolina area, and also and all that. I mean, yeah.
Wow. I
there's
had no idea.
You download an app, it'll tell you the closest disc golf course to you, and it's legit. I mean, it's fun. It's fun. If I can walk through the forest or woods with my kids,
I've got that app.
Around, it's a good time. Yeah, you disc, man.
Oh yeah, Paul, you want to go play when you get back? Let me know. We'll go play disc golf.
I would love to try it. I guess. I mean, I know nothing about it. I mean, I'm not a great golfer, and I'm not really great with a frisbee, so I'm sure I won't be good at it.
Yeah, it's like golf. You're gonna suck when you start. You're gonna hate it the first couple months, but once you can start controlling.
Oh yeah, no. When he says the first couple months, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
But if I hate it the first time, I'm probably gonna stop.
12 pack. That's what matters.
Yeah. It gets fun when you can start that basket's 300 feet away and I can put it within 2 feet of the basket. It's it gets fun when you can start doing stuff like that.
So what got you into disc golf originally? I have to ask Christy, because it's a very odd hobby that I was shocked when my friends got into it, and then it just kind of became a big thing.
Yeah, I mean, I was just with a group of buddies, and they're like, "Hey, we're going to play a round of disc golf." And I'm like, "What the fuck is that?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'll come." They gave me one disc. I hated it. But now I got hooked. I play 4 to 3 courses a week. Easily.
Wow.
It's something when I leave work, I'll just go, instead of going to the gym sometimes, I'll go walk 4 or 5 miles through the woods disc golfing. I mean, there's courses that are very tough to play. Like I played one in Colorado outside of Dillon, up in the mountains, which is they put the baskets in the summer, but it's a ski resort. So you're literally climbing. You start at like 9,000 feet, and the last hole is like at 12,000 feet. So it's crazy.
Oh no! I've played one like that in North Carolina, where literally you have to throw the disc down the mountain and then go down the mountain. It's like, I guess I'm walking down the mountain.
Yeah, and you hit a tree, you go a different direction. You just around there. So it's.
Oh yeah, it's like crazy.
That's my hobby. That's my hobby when I have time. I'll get around it. It takes about an hour and a half.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, so it's faster too.
And normally free, but however, there is no cart girl to come around and make sure you have extra beverages.
Yeah, exactly. And I smoke cigars when I play too. So like these other guys that play it, they're like, "How the fuck are you throwing the cigar in your mouth? I can't even throw the cigarette in my mouth." It's just like I don't think I really don't even know the cigars in my mouth half the time when I'm playing.
Oh yeah, I know. I've done it, been there, done that. Oh yeah, whole thing.
It becomes second nature. So going back to the cigars. So the process for Nugs is a patented, or it's in the process of becoming patented. For the purple band, that's going to have
it's patented.
It's patented.
It's patented, but the full 20-year. It's patented for the past 9 months. The full 20-year patent goes into effect this year.
Okay. And now the process for the THC cigar is it's the same process. So you're just using the same thing without baking off the THC from the CBD oil, I guess.
Yeah, I can't say much about it because that THC cigar is federally legal in all 52 states.
It's federally illegal.
No, legal.
Is it really?
Yeah, that's why that patent is worth so much money.
Wow.
Yeah, I can legally ship you that cigar has THC in it.
Okay.
How it's
I guess
made.
you don't. Oh, really? Because of the way that it's made, you're able to ship it.
Yeah, there's a little bit more science behind it, but unless we sit down with lawyers and NDAs, I don't want to talk about that part.
Well, that's news to me. That's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, not a lot of people. So I've been thinking, and the problem with that is, I've talked to one shop, and I actually call a bunch of shops about it, and even if the one's listening who's tuned in right now with shops. So that is probably going to be like a sister company to my cigar company, because depending on if shops want to bring it in, because if I have to, of course I'll explain it how it's legal to the shops, but the fact that I'm asking a shop to try a product that could terminate their license in their state, that might be a cigar they'll never make it to a shop that could be sold through a warehouse, direct online. So I don't want people to think if I do that, I'm bringing all my cigars online, which I'm not. If I go that route, depending on what the shops say, that could be my only online available cigar.
What about the shops that are in states where it's legal, like Colorado, California? Like, I guess that potentially.
So there's more. So Colorado is weird because you can't have a cigar shop and sell anything with CBD or THC in it because it's a different license. It has to be under a different roof. Mm-hmm. So that cigar alone would make them have to get another building and another license, and that license is $100,000. So, I don't know a cigar shop that would pay $100,000 just to sell one cigar on the shelf.
Nope.
No. So,
every state is a little different.
Huh?
A little hard to make your margin back on that one.
I don't think so.
Oh, he's back.
Yeah, I'm sorry. We had somebody that came in about the situation that happened with the ATF, so I actually had to talk to him for a little bit. I apologize about that.
We were talking about the patent for the Nugs process, and then the purple band that will have THC in it. That's technically legal in 50 states.
Are you still on the CBD?
Yeah. Well, we wanted to talk
about disc golf too.
No, yeah, we came back. We talked about disc golf for a while, then we came back to that. And
I want to make sure people know that the CBD was not the cigar that got Riste in the business. He was making really, really good cigars. From the Red Knight to Toronto, he was making cigars before he came out. There are some people who might be watching the show who don't know Riste and maybe for the first time. And the CBD cigar wasn't how he got in the cigar business. He was already in the business.
Well,
Riste started out selling. Was that?
Well, I was going to say, people watching, I got into 14 countries before my CBD cigar was out. I sold my cigar to 14 different countries.
Yeah,
I mean, the red
Riste
Knight is probably what got you notoriety in the business, correct, Riste? That's what Adam said.
It did, but it really got me notoriety overseas because that red Knight profile really fits into the Cuban profile.
Right.
It's just a little bit more power. The red Knight is like a phenomenal seller in Germany and Malaysia right now. Shop in Kuala Lumpur sells red Knights all day because they're used to smoking, that kind of profile.
Right. Which is that's your taste, right? I mean, you're a collector. You'll buy cigars from, aged cigars from years and years, and it's all Cubans, right? Your collection?
Yeah, my collection is it's dwindled down to what it used to be. What I have left now are boxes that are worth $4,000 or $5,000 a piece. Those are stuff I'll give to my kids. And my kids are 3 years old. In 15 years, if you're telling me I can sell one box of cigars and buy my kid a car, I'll go buy my kid a car with one box of cigars.
Right.
It's kind of like their mini investment. They have no clue they own yet. But at one point I would consider myself a vast collector to the point where I had people in the United States who were call me and ask me about my background and my humidor conditions and my, are you the second owner? How long have you owned it? Because when you start dealing with people that are buying one box of cigars for like $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 a piece, and you got to ship them overseas, they're going to have a guy come vet you. They're going to say, again, who's this guy from Hebron, Indiana, and why the hell does he have? Like I have a Cohiba original Siglo release that no one collected because it was a very small, petite, at the time a lady size. So I have a box that can finish a person's collection from '96 that people have offered me stupid amount of money on it for, but it just sits downstairs in my humidor. So when you start dealing with people, I know one guy that probably spends $5-6 million a year just on Cuban cigars, collecting. Doesn't smoke them, collecting, just buying everything you can. It's a whole different ballgame.
That's like the guys who collect cars they never drive.
Yeah, exactly.
Which I don't understand.
Yeah,
if you can't enjoy it, why have it? Just to look at it? That's like saying I have a hot wife that I never want to sleep with.
Right?
How does that make sense?
You're buying a Corvette, you don't press the pedal to the metal on that thing.
Right?
You know what I'm saying? It's like, why? Why would you do that?
I don't know.
But for me, I would buy 2 or 3 of the same boxes. I would smoke one box. If I liked it, I'd keep both of them. If I hated it, I'd sell one and keep the other one to sell down the line. So everything I bought was in threes. But when the Germany 898 release came out, I bought 35 boxes of that. I sold them all. I wish I still had them because instead of getting 3 times the price, I could have got 6 times the price on them right now.
Right.
Stuff like that. But all that money goes to my kids. Most of it goes to my kids and their bank accounts. My wife couldn't understand why are you spending $5,000 or $10,000 a week buying cigars? And then she thought it would stop when I had my own cigar company. And so now I have my own cigar company. And she's like, why are you still having cigars shipped to the house that aren't yours? It's like, don't you have enough tobacco? Well, but it got to the point where, it was an expensive habit.
So we have a question.
Collectible cigars. Oh, yeah, go ahead, Paul.
We have a question from Allison, one of our loyal listeners. She's asking, how big is your humidor in the house, Riste?
My humidor is 9 feet tall, 7 feet wide, and 9 feet long.
Wow.
Every wall is Spanish cedar. It's double insulated. It's got its own ecosystem. It's all digitally ran humidity, temperature, and it's an onyx tile floor too. Raised.
Do you have an app for that?
Huh?
Is there an app that tells you where everything is?
No, I actually have a cut sheet. God forbid something ever happened to me. My wife knows who to call and what the price to sell this stuff for.
I think. Wow, smart man. it's funny because I have stuff like that for my wife, and it's funny because that's how you start thinking.
You have to do it.
Yeah, I got 2.6 million miles. I actually called American Airlines to find out. God forbid I get COVID and drop. What happens to my 2.6 million miles? It actually goes to my wife.
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
Express cards are tied. My American Express cards are tied to my kids. Their miles. Yeah. You got to do stuff like that. I learned that from a guy in Australia who's a world-known collector. And, you know, I got a picture from him at 3 in the morning. He's like, mate, I'm selling everything. And when he said he's selling everything, he got like almost $1 million for his collection. And that was on the cheap, you know. And now he told me, he's like, this is my retirement.
Well, we got to take a break from one of our sponsors. And when we come back, we're going to talk about another collectible cigar that we are in possession of that you could let our listeners know about right after this. Keep it lit.
Hey everyone, Susan Giorgio here.
Hi, this is Rich coming at you from South Florida.
Hi, I'm Tom Stroud.
Hey, it's Stephen Martin coming to you from Seattle, Washington.
Hey everybody, I'm Jennifer True.
Hey everyone, this is Alex Ryan.
I'm a poker player, a dominoes player, a world traveler.
I like to go sailing, hit the golf course, and drink some wine.
I am a mother, I am a content creator.
I'm also a husband, a father, and someone who really enjoys great cigars.
Enjoying a Monte Cristo. In fact, the 50th anniversary Monte Cristo, special limited edition.
My favorite cigar, Monte Cristo Epic.
Please take this opportunity to smoke one of our amazing Monte Cristo cigars, the Monte by Monte being my personal favorite.
I am Monte Cristo.
I am Monte Cristo.
I am Monte Cristo.
We
are
Monte Cristo.
Surgeon General warning. Tobacco smoke increases the risk of lung cancer and heart disease, even in non-smokers.
And welcome back to KMA Talk Radio, broadcasting live here on the Facebook. I am Adam K. the Brewmeister. With me, of course, the man, the myth, Mr. Honest Abe.
Hello. I'm back.
Yes, and live from his mother-in-law's basement, it's Paul DeGracco.
I can't
So whose
smoke
casting
down
couch
here.
is that?
This is my mother-in-law's casting couch.
That's
Check
awesome.
out this thing. There's a Mickey Mouse pillow there.
Are you sure?
Paul, be honest, with all
You're
your
not
years on
Dr.
Broadway. Be honest, Paul, with all your years on Broadway, does that couch bring back some traumatic memories for you?
First of all, I was technically never on Broadway. I was in off-Broadway productions.
Even worse.
Yeah. I have had I mean, do we have time for a quick story?
Look, he's stuttering. Look, am I bringing back
a story where he didn't get the job after the casting couch.
Wait, so I had this casting
did someone
director.
ask you to drop your pants and cough during audition?
Not during an audition, but one time I went to an audition in Manhattan, and the guy's like, "We want to work with you, but not on this project." He goes, "I think you have more hosting ability, and we're working on 2 pilots." He's like, "But they're not funded yet. They're a long ways down the road. But I want to talk to you and pick your brain a little bit about it. So I'll call you later this week, and we'll set up a date to meet." He said, "I got like 16 other auditions today." I was like, "All right. I mean, listen, in the game that I was in, that was a win, because your job as an actor, as much as a lot of these people don't think, the thing about professional actors, right? And the thing about professional actors, especially these days, is they get a job for 8 weeks somewhere. You're going to have a job for 8 weeks. During that 8 weeks, you need to audition to find another job to fill. They don't do that. A lot of these guys that are like professional, and I'm going to catch shit from everybody, but what drives me nuts about a lot of these professional guys that do regional theaters around the country, they're in the union, what they do is they get 8 weeks to work. As soon as their 8-week commitment is up, now they knew they were ending that 8-week commitment, they file for unemployment. Then they get 8 weeks of unemployment. So then during the unemployment, they start to look for other work. It's a terrible game. They utilize the system. They shouldn't be able to, blah, blah, blah. The union should stop them from doing that, but they don't. So anyway, my job, I had a secured job at the time, and I was always looking. So this guy calls me later in the week, and he said, "You live on Long Island, right?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm on Long Island. I'm in Babylon." He goes, "I'm up in, I think he was at Sands Point, very, very wealthy area." He's like, "Why don't you take a ride out here, come for a swim, and we'll talk." And I was like, "What?" He goes, "I got an interview." He goes, "I got an infinity pool looking over the sound. Like, come up here. We'll spend the day at the pool, and we'll just chit chat." And I was like, "Wait, what?" He's like, "Yeah. I'll call you this weekend. We'll set up a date." He calls me back, and he's
don't
lie. No, I didn't go.
How was the view?
No, I probably should have gone.
How was the view looking over the pool?
I ended up not going, obviously, but he was pushing hard, man. He's like, "Come on, I got a suit for you. Don't worry about it."
I was gonna say, did he offer you his own trunks? Like, hey, I got my own suit for you.
Yeah, probably. Just take them off his body.
Ew.
So yeah, that happened.
What did you say to the guy? Thanks, but no thanks.
I said I'm busy this weekend, and I never talked to him again. He gave up though, so obviously he was looking for something because. I mean, I was a fit man back in that day. He was looking for something because he never called me back to reschedule.
Yes,
he saw his
square
opportunity.
Is definitely a size, yes. So anyway, back to the cigar world. There's
well, we want to talk about the cigars that are on Abe's desk right now, right? Abe?
Yeah, before the break, we mentioned this, and I never heard of this until I don't know, what was it, about a month ago? You were telling me about them. But tell our listeners what is this?
So that's the Goalie. The Goalie. It's when it comes out, it's going to be called the Goalie Collection, which will actually be 12 sizes in 3 different blends.
When it comes out, will it actually say limited as fuck as you got on the?
Yes, because I mean certain sizes there'll probably be 10 to 100 bundles available in the whole U.S.
Who's the girl in the thing? Is that stock?
That was my question.
That's just some chick I downloaded off Adobe licensing.
Okay, so
I'm not trying to get sued for using someone's image. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I said it's either somebody he knows or it's a stock image, but I was banking on it being somebody you know.
No, I don't need someone. I don't need permission from someone to use it and then sue me down the line or something. So I have an Adobe file. Just use it up.
So what's the story behind these here?
So that cigar developed in 2017 when I was actually looking for tobacco for my Platino Sonsa Solomon I released every Safari. And we were just going from farm to farm from Istili all the way up to Jalapa and back. And we were just trying different tobaccos. And tobacco used in that comes out of Somoto, which is only one farm out there. So it's just what's available is available. And at that time, there wasn't that much available. So it's using tobacco from Istili, Condega, Somoto, and all the way up to Jalapa and back. It's very medium body, ton of flavor. Everyday cigar you can smoke every day. It's my version of the unbanded box, store cigar. It's a great stick. It comes in 12 sizes, but not all 12 sizes will be available all the time. And it'll come in 12 sizes, 3 different blends, Ecuadorian Habano, Mexican San Andreas wrapper, and also a Connecticut shade version. But the limited as fuck part is they're not going to be available to everyone, and all the sizes won't be available all the time. The most limited would be the Connecticut, and in certain sizes the Maduro. One of the sizes, I try to stay to the old classic Cuban sizes. So one of the sizes is going to be a 5.5 by 34, 7.5 by 38, bunch of random old school sizes, but there's also going to be a 6 by 60 too. So more of the thinner ring gauge stuff will be really limited. And when I say limited, I'm talking maybe 500 or 600 cigars per bundle, or per size available near. So certain shops will get it, you'll get it. My local shop will get it. And then maybe 2 other shops in the U.S. will sell those. That's it. I mean, 5 total retailers will probably have that in the United States.
Well, we have a small stash of them now, but like I said, this just
So those the ones I sent
yesterday. I haven't had a chance to try one. They literally came in yesterday, and I wanted to ask.
Those are from my walk-in. Those I got in January. Just been sitting in my house, after they've been rolled. It's just something I don't talk about a lot. And when I was saying it'd be cool, let's just kind of start the release on your show, and then build a momentum for other sizes as we go.
But
those are available.
These are extremely reasonably priced. I mean, is this going to be?
Yeah.
I mean, this is what?
That's a
$5 stick.
It's a $5 stick.
Something, yeah.
Yeah, the most expensive one would be probably $6 on the shelf. That's it. Wow. 20 count for $120. 20 count delicious cigar. It's hard to beat.
Where did the name Goalie come from?
Well, Goalie in Macedonian means nude, naked.
Ah.
So the only thing, it's just a sticker on there. I try to keep it, no bands, no nothing. Focus more of the money.
I like that. That's going to be our new sex code word with my wife. Goalie.
Goalie?
Yeah.
There you go.
Well, it's funny because we went to Amsterdam.
How do you say no? I have a headache in Macedonian.
When we went to Amsterdam, there was all these commercials for 1-900 sex lines and all this stuff. And this one commercial always came on that the number was 6969, the last 4 digit. So that became like our code for the longest time. Say sane, which is right, 6969. So that was like my wife's and I code for the longest time. Like when we went, hey, you want to go hit it in front of you? It's sane.
Well, I mean,
yeah.
I need a code.
Now it's gonna be goalie. Now it's gonna be goalie.
Goalie. I think I only sent you like 45 bundles between 3 sizes. So there's not that many, out at all.
When are those available, Abe?
They're available now. They're up at smokeinn.com/goalie right now. But I think he said it was only 50 bundles. That's all we got. So when they're gone, they're gone. They're various sizes. And like I said, I haven't even tried one yet. So this is my bundle on my desk. I'm going to give it a shot. But
nice.
Yeah, they've got 50 bundles that are available for sale right now. So I'll be interested. I'll post what I think of it when I get a chance.
Yeah, please do. I'll send you the full. It's going to be so like the idea of that is, how like stores have, that 4-cab wood box with the house stick in it. So I'm working on actually getting that naked chick a giant wood cutout, and on her body would be different sizes, cabs. So more eye aesthetic for the shop. You'll have the customer saying, why is that naked chick got a bunch of cigars? I got to go check them out. So sex sells in this industry, and people are accusing me. Yeah, right now people are accusing me like, because I'm posting nug pictures, tits on my page, and you can't sell that cigar unless you're giving out free shirts and shit like that. So it's just whatever.
By the way, just so you know, that's like one of my wife's still favorite shirts.
Yeah,
and plus it's one of my favorite shirts because I think.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's got to be
a lot of guys' favorite shirts.
Yeah.
So I I've actually sent shirts around the world. So there'll be a lot of like Nugs ladies from like Malaysia coming out soon, Sweden coming out soon. So
I can't wait. I can't wait.
The crazy thing is, believe it or not, I told my wife, I'm like, hey, I think I might do like a cigar calendar, but just with Nugs, but just have tits and every month, right? And my wife's like, I think that's cool as hell. And I was like, I think I'm gonna do it just with like whoever wants to do it. You would not believe how many women and guys like petition their wives or like send me pictures and they're like, yo, my wife's got a huge fucking rack. Send me that shirt. I think she'll be great for the whole thing. Or there'll be ladies that don't smoke who's like, I would love to show my rack off, but keep my face out of it and don't say my name. So I legit wake up to emails sometimes, like, with casting couch emails, I would say.
That's funny.
And it all
that's a good racket.
Casting couch once again.
So moving away from cigars briefly, you posted that during the quarantine you were working on a project, Riste. Was it 100% hemp cigarettes? Is that
those
what
are
it was?
right now. Yeah,
so tell us about those.
Hemp. It's a flower grade CBD hemp, because if you use like in the industry there's a term called biomass, which is like consider biomass the same as like short filler cigars, the leftovers. And a lot of people use the leftovers and make a cigarette. It just doesn't taste good. But it's not developed. It's just what we do in the process. We infuse it with terpene profiles of famous marijuana strains. So it kind of smells like you're smoking marijuana and it tastes like you're smoking marijuana, but there's 0 nicotine and 0 THC in that cigarette.
So wait, what is it that you put in it? What strains of marijuana?
So we use terpene profiles from like purple haze. There's a bunch that'll be coming out soon, but it's like famous marijuana strains like Purple Haze, Northern Lights.
But
G13.
what part of the strain do you actually use?
The terpene. A terpene is.
Yeah, explain what terpene is, because I don't know, and I'm sure a lot of our listeners don't know.
It's what they make CBD with, right?
No.
No. Okay.
The CBD is like a chemical compound of the plant, but the terpene is actually in everything. Terpene is in your grass. Terpene is the flavonoid of that organic compound. So I'll tell you a really cool story about cigars and terpene. Cigar Sense, Franca, who does Cigar Sense.
Mm-hmm.
So my first IPCPR show, she came to my booth and she took an original Red Knight Robusto and gave it to her friend who's a chemist and pulled the flavored terpenes out of my cigar, put it in a oil where I can burn that oil in an oil burner. And now my house, when I burn that, smells like a Red Knight Robusto. Huh. So it's the flavor. So we pulled the terpenes out of marijuana strands. So it gives that the flavor peel that you're smoking, because CBD by itself, CBD flower, no offense to anyone that's selling it, tastes like pure shit. It's garbage. It's just like smoking like stale grass or some shit like that. But the cigarette that cigarette is very palate-wise enjoyable, and there's not that many cigarettes like that on the market.
So I understand there's no THC.
You won't feel the drug.
There's no nicotine. There's just CBD in it.
It's hemp with CBD. That's it.
That's it.
I smoke them all day. It's just a quick, 4 or 5 milligram shot of CBD. That's a great going to work cigarette, or your boss has pissed you off and you need to walk outside for about 5 minutes, smoke a cigarette.
I should order a case of them and hand them out to my staff all day.
What are they called?
It's called Sativa Blaze, but Sativa is spelled different because of trademark reasons, because a lot of people are, so it's called Sativa Blaze. They're sold right now just online, but I'm opening up a wholesale portal on that online store, in which I've had a lot of feedback where I've sent them to shops who requested it, like more C-stores and gas stations and stuff like that, head shops. It's just another product I thought of and decided to pursue for a little bit. If it takes off, it takes off. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But I gotta this whole pandemic thing, staying at home for 2 months, I think I opened 3 more places because I was bored. I couldn't travel. I have to do something. It's
right.
My mind has to stay active.
You're pretty resourceful and stay active, doing a lot of things. Do you feel that any one area of your business gets a little bit of the stepchild syndrome and gets neglected a little bit? There's only so much we can only be spread around, right?
Yeah. So, at one point, the cigar side of things kind of scaled back a second because the CBD side of things were exploding, and now the CBD kind of thing is just on auto control, and I'm focusing more back on cigars. The whole Fuck the FDA cigar that I released, I can't make enough of those things right now. It's just at first I'm only bringing in 5,000 cigars a month, and I'm going to scale that to 10,000 cigars a month because I sell that many, cigars in just that one SKU. I didn't think shops would really want to pick it up because of the whole naming thing, and I really don't see that cigar being reviewed by a lot of people. But I'll tell you this: it is a great cigar. Some people are saying it's the best cigar I ever released. That I'll put a band on it. The band sounds gimmicky, fuck the FDA, but I'm not gonna give you a gimmicky flavored, mediocre blend.
The other new cigar is and I don't know if I'm saying it right, the Kral or Kral.
Oh, he had that when he was on our show last time.
Yeah.
Oh, we did?
So the
okay.
first release of that cigar was 2 years ago. The second release of that cigar will be a 7x44, which will come out in December. This whole, I had to shut the factory down for two months. It was supposed to be for 30 days, but, me and my partner were yelling, let's do 2 months. And just yesterday, they just restricted all travel again to Nicaragua. I got an email from the embassy in the U.S. So that kind of pushed everything back. Today, would be the release of the new nug sizes, which I put completely on hold because that cigar relies on another lab, and when that lab is shut down for 3 months,
right,
and, that affects that cigar. So I thought I had enough nugs to last me for 3 months, which I don't. So it's so that cigar will be coming back out. The new nugs will be up December. The Goalie Collection was supposed to release at IPCPR this year, but that got pushed back. The Kral sizes got pushed back. So I focused more on the Fuck the FDA cigar. That was, that going very well right now. And then I've been focusing everything on the marijuana version of that cigar. And I know Abe wasn't on when I said this, but that THC version of that cigar is actually legal in all 52 states, and it's based on because of the patent I have on it and the process we do. But the problem with that cigar is if I go to Abe, hey, would you take a chance of selling this cigar that might shut down your business because your local authorities don't know the law? So would you, 99.9% of all shops are going to say no. Fuck that.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, because I've already experienced how the local law doesn't know the law.
Yeah, exactly.
We're getting shut down every other week because
Today.
of how of how people are interpreting stuff written in Tallahassee, and by the time it gets down here, everybody's got a different view of how to interpret it. So yeah, I mean it's extremely and it's really funny too, because the divisions don't care about each other. I actually told the ABT guy, because I'm concerned about my liquor license, right? Don't want to lose it. That's an asset. You own it. We pay a lot of money, over some thousands of dollars for it. And I said, look, if I tell this local zoning, Palm Beach County, to go F himself and stay open, I mean, I don't care. Listen, if I go to jail, I was already ready. I had a campaign going, get Abe out of jail sale. I was going to promote it and, whatever. I didn't care. I would get arrested. They want to fine me. But if I tell him to go F himself, do I have a chance of losing my liquor license? And the ABT people said, no. You, as far as we're concerned, you're doing everything all right. We don't care if your lounge is open. We don't have an issue with you. So I'm like, really? And then he goes, but the county does have authority over your business license. And unfortunately, guess what your liquor license is tied to?
Depends on it, right?
Yeah, so I mean, we're screwed. We're screwed, no matter what. Hey, I got to ask you. I can't keep up with the chat because it's the Ronnie Haysha Ray Malbit show.
Yes.
Oh Jesus.
Yeah,
well, it's funny. It's funny. My business partner in Nicaragua just said, "Hey, the guy next to your face on the screen, which is Paul, it looks like a little turtle."
Paul does look like a little turtle.
He just sent me that from Nicaragua.
But what is Zlatno?
Zlatno. Oh fuck. So Zlatno is full body strength Connecticut. I released with my previous factory, which I will release that cigar again. The only place you can buy that cigar right now is at Sasha's place in downtown Amsterdam. He brought in a big bundle before I had a falling out with my previous partner, and at the time, I was focused on other things. So that cigar will come back in queue. That cigar I named after my son. I found out I was blending the cigar when my wife told me, hey, we're having a boy. So Zlatno Sonce means, in Macedonia, it means golden sun, like the sun in the sky. But for me, that cigar means it's my first son, my golden son.
Oh.
So it means golden sun in my book. It's full body. It's a full body strength Connecticut. It came out in two sizes, 6x52 and a 5x50. And if you look back into like the portfolio, it is the white and gold JSK box. And the only place to get that right now, anywhere in the world, is Sasha Cigar Agua. I haven't made it in over 2 years. So.
Oh wow!
But that cigar was my 2018 Ristafari Solomon. So that was the last time it was actually made, and I mean it sold out in seconds. It's a really good cigar. It is. There's some brand owners that will tell you it's probably the best Connecticut they've smoked. I know for a fact.
Everybody's talking about it on the chat.
They won't tell you in public, but they'll tell you in person. It's a really good cigar.
All right, fantastic. Anyway, now our news correspondent is sitting in front of a fireplace, Mr. William Cooper. Koopaloop, what's going on, buddy? Well, you got to take him off mute, buddy.
Coop, you have to unmute yourself since I muted you when you came in.
Coop?
It's that little microphone button.
It looks like Cooper.
Well, why did you mute me? There we go.
I muted you because when you came on, you were making a little bit of noise because I know I called you a little bit earlier than I said. So I just hit mute, but you have to unmute yourself. It's
okay, no problem.
Coop,
you can hear me now, right?
Coop, before you start, I just want to, hey, Paul, if I send you something, would you be able to put it up on the screen?
Yeah, it's an image.
All right, it's an image. I'll text it to you. Go ahead, Coop, continue. But don't put it up until I'm ready to cue it, okay?
Okay.
All right, go ahead. Go ahead, Coop.
You don't want to know where this is.
Oh, good morning, everybody. It's all good, all good. Sorry about that. Yeah.
So what's up, Coop? How are
Love the fireplace, buddy.
How's it going?
Good, good. I like that background, man.
It's real. It's actually real. It's not virtual.
It's the palatial Coop estate.
I've seen your plastic couches. I know that's real.
So you were talking about the Zlatno Sons. That's one of the strongest Connecticut's I ever had. I know I told Riste this. Like a lot of people say they make a strong Connecticut. That's Connecticut will knock you on your ass.
Yeah.
Really?
If you get really strong Connecticut.
Read the half-wheel review of that cigar. It starts out, there's the best cigar, I can smoke it every day, blah, 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 blah. And at the end, it's too strong. I can't enjoy it. The strong is too powerful at the end.
It could have said it tasted like taco meat.
That is true. He could have said that.
That's true.
But legitimately, I can hope that cigar makes a comeback. It was a really good cigar. Yeah.
I plan on doing that in the 4 original sizes of the Red Knight. So it'll come back in the Lancero and also in the Lonsdale too.
Nice.
So, Coop, what's going on in the news this week?
Kind of a slow week in the news, but we could talk about a few releases that have hit the airwaves. Actually, let's talk about some news first out of TPE. So TPE kind of made a public statement this week, basically along the lines, they're moving forward as far as having their trade show goes. They're looking into, obviously, safety protocols. They didn't expand on what those safety protocols are going to be as of yet. They are telling exhibitors and attendees that if they are forced to shut down the show, people will get a full refund.
That's awesome.
And I'm also hearing they've hired a new contractor, which they're saying is going to be able to pass some costs back to the exhibitors as well.
Wow.
Which is cool. As for me who attends, to get an email saying, hey, we're actually really trying to cut down your costs, which TP was already cheaper anyways. But if they're taking the time to actually make it more cheaper for, brands to show up, I mean, it's no brainer.
Yeah, they've been very transparent, which I think is good. Yeah. Like, even this email didn't have all the answers, but that's fine because I think they're being transparent, saying this is what we're doing, this is where we are in the process right now. And I don't think there'll be surprises one way or another if anything happens. Plus, like you said, Riste, they are being they are kind of working with you guys right now as far as some of these costs.
I got the same email, and I think, like you said, there's really not that many, but I think it gives you the opportunity to ask the questions you want based on it, like how much cheap. I mean, when they said they're going to use Shepherd, Shepherd's used at IPCPR, so it's like, I mean, it's a lot cheaper to go to TPE. You know what I'm saying? It's just, money-wise, from my standpoint, it's a lot cheaper.
Cost not being a mention, but would you go to Vegas for TPE in January, Riste?
Me?
Yeah.
I'll go to Vegas next week if there's something to do.
Okay.
There's nothing to do. I had a friend out there send me a picture of the strip at like Friday 8 o'clock at night, and it was dead. Maybe like 5 people on the whole strip.
I'm not quite ready to fly yet. I mean, I don't know about next January, but I'm not quite ready to fly yet. And look, we're kind of, I'm watching that very closely because the TPE is the closest event to our event, the Great Smoke. Unfortunately, we kind of got to make our decision in the next 30 to 60 days. The reality of the situation, whether we're going to have a physical event or go to Plan B. And I just, here's the question, because I was talking about it with one of our planning people. If we throw the event in February, right, will people come? I think people will come.
I'll be there.
I think people will come. My concern is going to be what happens when the first person goes on social media, whether they got it by coming to the event, got it before the event.
It doesn't matter. They're still tied to the event. Yeah.
Right. And then 20 other ones. I don't want to be the first guy to put my toes in the pool. Do you know what I'm saying? Yeah. I don't want to be the experimental, cigar function to see how this all plays out, because I think it's problematic. And honestly, I don't want to create an environment that may cause more risk or more problems for anybody. So that's our real concern going in. Could we have it? I mean, as long as I still haven't gotten a contract from the fairgrounds, which alone says something. It's typically signed in March, so we still haven't got it. Could we if they allowed us to have a function there in February, would people come? I believe people would come. I just don't know if that's in the best interest of everybody there. That's my concern.
Well, another event that also falls into that, and I don't know if you've heard anything about this, Coop, and I know you were there last year, but what have you heard about Pro Cigar, which falls in the same timeline? Has there been anything about that?
I haven't heard anything about that or the Nicaraguan Festival yet. I imagine we're going to hear something by October on either one of them. Right. And, people in the Dominican are already telling me it's questionable whether they think they don't know whether it's going to happen or not. I'm skeptical as well. They're probably gonna have to make a call on that by October 1st. I'm thinking on that if they do it.
Not to mention we got the Habanos Festival that happens in January, and who knows if that even happens.
Yeah,
that's gonna happen.
There's actually a Partagas Festival in November too, and I haven't heard what's up with
way
that.
too much money going to that place for not to happen.
The problem is that, look, when we opened up back in May, we didn't think that pretty much in August we'd be almost closing up again.
Right.
Right. So, how do you make that call? Because events of our magnitude, some of these bigger events, it's months of work and planning and structuring before the event. So you have to make a decision on an uncertainty of where things are going to be 5-6 months down the road. So, it's, most people are just going to, side on this, err on the side of caution. Mm-hmm. So it's a tough call. It's a tough call.
The big event coming up that I haven't heard yet if it's canceled is Cigar Fest. That's the Cigars International one. That's scheduled for October. And that's a massive event. Yeah. So, that's going to be I don't know if that's going to happen one way or another, but they haven't canceled it as of yet.
I think I heard, this is totally rumor.
We don't do that, man. Coop's online.
No, Coop doesn't do it. I definitely do it. I think I heard
the last time this happened, I got into trouble.
No, I think I heard it was. I think I heard that from a couple companies that it was because they were offering to send back the cigars that were already sent there, unless they're talking about it, because that was originally supposed to be in what?
May.
So unless they're talking about the May and then they rescheduled. You're talking about the rescheduling of the event from May to October,
right,
yeah?
Right, May to October. The October one, I haven't seen the official notice that it's canceled yet.
And then it could have been the May, so we'll see.
Yeah.
Abe, they're asking, Wes is asking if it's a virtual Great Smoke this year, could you sell the Big Delicious Bloody Mary premix?
Listen, all I have to say is we had a 3-hour strategic meeting with some big people. And if it does go that route, I promise you, it'll be something that this industry's never, ever, 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 ever seen before. So
nice.
We got a lot of, let me put it this way. One of the guys we're talking about was involved in the production of the Golden Globes. So yeah, we're working on something big if we have to go down that route, because look, I'm all about the experience, right? I'm not here just to sell cigars, and I don't like to think of myself as a salesman or a vendor, right? So it's all about the experience, and if we're gonna go down that road, it's got to be in a style and a fashion that people will be talking about for the next 10 years. So that's our plans, but there'll be cool stuff.
I had a blast at your event. I mean, even the people that came with me, they had an awesome time.
Listen to me, and that's something you want, the tactile experience, right? And we never want to get away with that. But if that, for whatever reasons of the state of the world, I mean, listen, who knows? I mean, after November 4th, it could be all sunshine and rainbows, but, I mean.
Let's hope.
I was supposed to be in Sweden today for my release of my cigar we released yesterday. And, I hated canceling that trip, but, it is what it is.
Oddly enough, we had more. I banked in a lot of my 2.6 million miles. We had more trips planned this year than probably my wife and I have traveled in the last 5 years put together. And it just happened to be the year we can't fly anywhere. So it is what it is.
So, Coop, what else is going on this week?
Epic Cigars, Dean Parsons' company, made an announcement this week. They're doing their 10-year anniversary cigar. Dean's been kind of quiet for the past year or so, but actually now Epic, he was bought out by Xander Gregg, which is a large distribution company. And but Dean's kind of still running the Epic brand, and now he's also working with Xander Gregg. But he's doing a cigar for his 10th anniversary of the brand called the Epic 10. And that's going to be a limited edition cigar, and it's going to be his first cigar out of Nicaragua. He's been working in the Dominican Republic exclusively. Now he's working out of Nicaragua, AJ Fernandez, and it's going to be a Cameroon wrap cigar over Nicaraguan binder and filler in a 6x54 box press size, a limited edition, 1,000 boxes.
Yeah, we haven't heard from him in quite a while.
I was with him in Europe in September. He's a nice guy.
Oh, he's
very nice guy. Yeah,
very nice guy. Yeah.
And
He
is he
does.
the
He
one
makes
who
good
gave you
cigars,
that
too.
hat?
What was that?
And is Dean the one who gave you that hat?
No.
That's a developing palates
That's
hat.
the developing palates hat.
Dude, Adam so does not have a clue.
Adam thought it was a
He
Dean
thought it was
Parsons
a Dean
hat?
Parsons hat. That's hilarious.
That actually is good. I have to tell Aaron that one.
I thought it was his porno. Look.
Is that the Detroit Panthers baseball team hat?
DP.
Or DP. You can use your imagination with that. That's what we've.
Just here for the jokes, anyway. Okay.
Oh, that was a joke.
I want to talk about Coop's virtual trade show.
Yeah.
Coop had this. I mean, I didn't catch it. I apologize. But he had this virtual trade show going on. Tell us about how that went.
So Aaron and I, for the past couple of years prior to IPCPR, we would do this show. We call it the Big Board, and it's the big board of all the releases that were coming out from companies. And we basically would read through them and talk through those releases, and we did that for 2 years. Last year, when we kind of were one of the first podcasts to go to Zoom, we realized we had the technology to bring people in and out of the podcast, and what we looked at is, well, what if we took that concept and had, instead of us reading through that list, we bring on a lot of the manufacturers to talk about their releases. So this year we were planning on doing that prior to IPCPR. There weren't enough releases announced in June, so we kind of put that off and said, let's just do it in July, and we branded it Virtual Trade Show. And it's really, like I said, we had 24 people, and it was a lot of people. And they basically came on and they were able to pitch their product for a short amount of time. And they had an exclusive window to do that, and they could talk about their summer releases. We brought one person in at a time. I thought it went well. I think we've learned some things coming out of it. I think next year we probably split it into 2 shows, so we can give people a little more time, and we don't keep people waiting as much. But I think the concept worked for what we were looking to accomplish. We accomplished our goal.
So it was basically the whole show split between Steve Saka and Skip Martin?
No, Skip wasn't on.
Oh, okay. Well, that's why.
Everyone couldn't commit. It was hard to get everyone to commit. We actually scheduled this in a much shorter window than we planned as well.
He asked me to be on. I couldn't make it.
And that's okay. We get you another time certainly on the show, and we understood everyone couldn't make it. But Steve actually kept to his time limit. It was actually the protocol guys that went over their time limit because they announced a lot of stuff on the show.
What a surprise!
What cigar caught your interest the most?
CLE 25 anniversary by Christian. I didn't know he had something coming out for that, and I've been very high on a lot of the stuff he's been doing. Christian Aroa, that is. Yeah.
All right. Well, the 20th
I
is
thought
a
you were going to
stellar
say the
stick, in
green
my
pea.
opinion. It's a solid stick. All right. So, I don't know if you want to say, but I'm going to ask anyway. What new release you just didn't get?
What new release? That's a good one.
You said, okay, that doesn't even sound interesting.
It's not that I'm thinking on that one. That one I didn't.
Okay. Well, if nothing comes to your mind right away, then obviously nothing made that little of an impact on you.
Yeah, I mean, we had a bunch of stuff we had the intel on anyway,
right.
So it wasn't a total surprise on that. Yeah, like I said, there was no, when someone's telling you something, you got to smoke it obviously to be to judge it. The AJ Fernandez guys came on. They talked about a double Corona they're doing, which I was actually excited about on the New World because they don't do a lot of that size.
That's good. All right, good stuff.
Yep.
Anything else going on, Coop? You want to talk about?
I think, like I said, it was a pretty slow week on the news, except for the stuff on the virtual trade show. Certainly, I mentioned that AJ Fernandez announcement that they made. Protocol made a bunch of announcements too. They're doing a Protocol Green called Cybersecurity. They're doing a new installment to their Sir Robert Peel series. This is going to be an Elliot Ness cigar. It's going to be in a broadleaf and a natural. So they've got some good stuff coming out as well this year.
I was with Juan and these guys in Colorado last year, and I told him we should do Protocol Green. Well, let's make a Protocol CBD cigar. Like, you're the cop, and I'm the bad guy putting the CBD in the Protocol Green. It didn't pan out well, but I mean,
I said I was trying to get them to do Protocol Green, but like a T-Man cigar, Treasury Man cigar. That was kind of what my angle was with that. But one of the partners is in internet cybersecurity, so that's kind of his team on that.
Can I ask a question that maybe we can't talk about Protocol? Are you going to be upset, Abe?
You're going to ask
Who are you asking?
So now,
I don't know who you're asking.
Obviously, Kevin was a silent partner from the beginning, and now he's more in the forefront. And it's Kevin and Juan that are in the forefront. Where is Bill Ives in all of this? Is there any intel on that, Coop? Is he out?
I think he's
out. He was bought out.
Yeah, he's out. He's out of the company.
He's out of the company. I don't have all the backstory on that, but yeah, Kevin slowly bought his way into the company, and from what I understand, Kevin's the majority owner of the company, even though Juan's
baby. Cash is king.
I mean, look. I was telling somebody in my office the other day. True story. Local guy. He's actually in private security. I've used him, and private investigation. Excuse me. And he's making a cigar brand, and he was telling me about it and all this stuff. I literally opened my drawer and I said, "Wait a second, hang on." And I started going through my drawer, and he says to me, he goes, "What are you looking for?" He goes, I think I got a hammer here. I just was going to hand it to you so you can start banging your cock right now. It's exactly the conversation I had with him. I said, you might as well just take the hammer, start whacking yourself in the nuts, because that's the ride. I mean, you can ask guys. It is
a ride, man.
You can ask guys like Riste and Eric Espinosa and whatever, and even guys like Pete Johnson, man. That's the beginning of this ride.
Yep.
Right, and it's a cash cow. They don't realize, because your own growth is the suffocating force early on. If you're successful, that's when you're going to go through the most pain early on, as Riste will tell you, because the amount of cash it takes to fuel that success.
To even start getting money back, the amount of cash you got to put up. When I tell people that, they're like, what are you talking about? I was like, I can't make a cigar today and sell it tomorrow.
Right.
I can if I don't want to have a company longevity. I have to make something today and sell it 6 months down the line.
You know what success means early on? More money. It's costing you more money. You're not making more money early on. So I literally said, I'm looking for a hammer, because you might as well just start banging yourself now. And that's the struggle of these guys. And there's that threshold that you hope to eventually break, where the cycle starts to flow and the loop closes, and the cash flow and the revenue now start matching the output of the cash.
The gap closes up.
Yeah, and that's the point you try to reach. So, I'm sure Bill, I don't think it was anything like personal. I'm sure Bill's balls just got beat up too much. He had enough of that ride. Juan's out in boats and drinking, having a great time. So, Juan's pretty much numb to the pain, So, I love Juan, that, but, I could totally fathom why he had enough. It's a tough ride.
You look at a lot of companies, and I know Riste's probably close to this mark, but he's doing very well. But that 5-year mark is when I see a lot of companies make or break. There's a lot of companies I've seen hit the 5-year, and then that's it. They disappear.
It happens when, if you have that drive, that momentum.
Yeah.
You have to keep that momentum going, because the second that momentum dips, it's like a 10x dip. It just dips.
Yeah.
It's very hard to get back. I mean, you got, people say, I'm riding the wave. You got to ride that wave from day one.
Yeah.
The second,
exactly.
if it dips, you're done. And if it dips when you just invested a shit ton more money to stay afloat, and you hit that dip, I mean, you're out. It's going to hurt.
Right.
I mean, it's literally one of the very few businesses that I know of that when you're starting out, if you're successful, it costs you more money. You're not profitable. I mean, it's just brutal.
It's like a restaurant.
It's a tough model. No. Why is it like a restaurant? If you open up a restaurant from day one and you're gangbusters, you're in the black. Why are you going the red? See, because there's different exponential factors when you're in the cigar business. Success when you're in a restaurant, your success covers all your costs. But success doesn't, because you need future costs. So it increases your future costs that haven't happened yet. It's a completely different model, man. It's hard.
You can lose. I'm friends with one brand who had this happen to him very early, which, hurt the company real bad. Imagine your very second or third shipment gets all cut in half by the, customs. What do you do then? You just lost the product. You just invested all this money in. And now the government says, well, we cut them in half because we cut them in half. Go fuck yourself. Bye.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and there's not another batch ready to be sent to you.
Yeah.
It's problematic. It's tough.
I was just saying, like John Carney's reiterating, it takes years for a restaurant to become successful because of that huge initial investment.
Okay, that's a payback on investment.
On one investment.
It can be profitable and it can sustain its existence based on sales. So if you have a restaurant and you're doing $2-3 million a year in your first year, you made money that year to cover all your costs and then some to go toward the paying back of the initial investment. Doesn't work that way in the cigar business. Okay, stick to your grill, John Carney.
He's back from the woods of Maine, I hear, back in our area. So he
posted an office picture yesterday, I think. I follow them a lot. I mean, I love smoking meat too, so I love watching what other people do.
Dude, I gotta come to one of your cookouts.
Dude, I'm going to one right after this.
I'm telling you, every time you post pictures of what you're smoking, I'm like, God damn, I gotta get out there.
We got a 150-pound pig going on right now, and 7 briskets, and 2 pastrami briskets. Probably 400 pounds of chicken wings. That's where I'm going after this.
How are you not 400 pounds is the real question.
It's all that CBD.
It's all the disco.
I mean, I used to weigh like 360 pounds was the biggest I weighed, but I had a heart attack at 360. And so I'm like at 255. Really? Yeah, I had a heart attack at 27 years old.
Easy.
I was just going to say, you're only, what are you, 34?
38.
You're 38 years old and you've already had a heart attack. My God.
Oh, I had a heart attack before I was 30.
Listen to me. For everybody out there, Ronnie Haysha, who now is a restaurateur, wants to debate the economics of the restaurant business. Whatever it is, I'm telling you, it does not work like the cigar business. And John, you should know. Ronnie may not, but John, you should know. It doesn't work the same. You're not buying food for 10 months out in a cigar business.
Yeah, I'm not buying a cow and selling it 10 months out.
Yeah, so it's not the same model. Yeah. John's all 90% fail. Yeah, 90% fail because half the people who get in the restaurant business don't know how to operate
shit.
Food. Yeah.
So don't know shit about cooking.
I'm just talking about the business model where immediate success creates immediate more impact on your cash flow and cost. I've never seen that model in any other business. I mean, they may exist. I just don't know of it off the top of my head.
Right, you don't know the specifics.
Yeah.
Anyway, Coop, what's happening this week on cigar-coop.com?
There you go.
We got obviously more. We got a series of reviews coming out. The big ones that's going to be highlighted this week are the Christoph JT Signature and the Asylum 7.
Oh, very nice. Look forward to that.
Yep.
All right, very cool.
Before you get off, I want to share something, right? Mm-hmm. So, Paul, don't share it yet, but I want to share something. So, one of the things like Riste, right? You have to pivot. So, our retail has been suffering. Our stores have been suffering. So, my focus now has been focusing on trying to do things online and cater to audience around the country. That's why we're doing virtual events like I can confidently say no one's been doing it the way we've been doing it. And we got a big one coming up this Thursday night, 7 p.m. with Drew Estate and their Dogma release. And I got a couple other things in the works. We got one with Eric Espinosa. I got one in October with Pete Johnson. So we're having fun. So I've been creating different things. Now, I can't release what this is exactly yet because we're not ready. But I'm doing something pretty cool that we'll probably have the news out in the next couple of weeks. But part of it has to do with some cool things. But I just wanted to share this picture while Coop was on the air. Can
I share it?
Involvement, yeah.
I know what this is. Yeah, I know what this is.
Share that puppy.
All right, it's up
so
now.
Abe, I'll apologize for you again when I messaged you last night. I didn't know you were on Dojo. And that's when I said no, and I stopped typing. That's what happened.
It's okay.
Yeah, Abe sent me this last night.
So many things going on. I was texting Joe Grow the other night, and Joe's like, I'm in the green room waiting to go on Coop's show. I'm like, man, Coop's got a show like every night. There it is. I don't know if they could see that, man, but that is a great.
I can't see it.
It's not on your screen. You got to be watching the Facebook.
Yeah, you have to be watching.
But I know what it is. Yeah.
You've seen it.
Yeah.
I would very much like to know what this photo is.
I'll try to show it to you guys. But it's William Cooper's stat card.
Why is he wearing an upside down? What is with the
news will come out in a couple weeks, but it's something he's involved in.
This is Abe's teaser, guys. This is Abe's teaser. So
my teaser.
I'm just complying with his deal here. Is all I'm saying.
That's Coop's stat card. So we're gonna have fun with this. We'll let the news out.
Yeah. So
but just so you know, my crew has been so overwhelmed with these virtual things and doing the coding and the graphics. I made that graphic. So I'm a little proud of it. I haven't done my own graphics. I haven't done my own graphics in, literally, I don't know what, but about 8 years now, 10 years. So it was good.
Quarantine does.
Yeah, it was good to stretch the old graphic muscles and put that.
Abe, we also have Quentin is asking that you plug the after the show virtual lounge. I guess they're going to do a Smoke Inn virtual lounge right after the show.
Is it this show? Or is it the release party on Thursday? Which one is he talking about? Listen,
that's a great one.
Yeah, ask Quentin. But Quentin, listen, I've always said one of my mottos from day one: we have the best customers, patrons, right?
Quentin's an awesome guy.
They're just awesome, man.
Yep.
They're
he is.
family and they're loyal. And Quentin is just took it upon himself to take over our virtual lounge. And I love it. We sent him a cool care package. But I was doing this every day during quarantine, but now I'm back in the real world. I can't work all day, and then I haven't seen my wife and kids. I see my wife and kids all day. When I got on at 7 o'clock at night every night, it was no big deal. I don't see them, and now I come home and I got to go outside and not talk to them for 2 hours. So I haven't been able to be active. And Quentin's like, do you mind if I start booking guests? I'm like, no, dude, go ahead. So he's kept our Smoke Inn virtual lounge alive, and a lot of times if I'm available, a lot of times, believe it or not, it's on the drive home, because it's usually 7, 8 o'clock, and I'm usually heading home, so I'll hop on for a little bit. But he's been manhandling our virtual lounge. So I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if it's after this show he's talking about, or it's after the event next week. But
he's watching. Quentin, just specify when it's going to be.
Yeah, we'll post it when the time is right.
There was good FDA news. It was positive somewhat this week from the judge.
Well, there was nothing that was said. He just heard it. He didn't say anything positive.
I was on the call. He asked some good questions for our industry.
Did he make? He didn't make a decision.
Yeah, it was just a formality. Gathering of info.
Yeah, but this judge, we've seen him go. He's flip-flopped a few times, so I don't know what to make of him sometimes.
I think it would be. So, in my opinion, a 2-month extension at least. I think
that may happen. That part may happen, but that's the FDA that's willing to give on that.
Yeah.
Now, the judge can't.
I'll tell you as a company, I'm ready. I filed paperwork already, and I'm ready to file everything.
Yeah.
Tomorrow if I want. So.
If we got a win on the SE, it would be the biggest upset in the history of the cigar industry, as far as wins go, because I think it's a long shot they're going to have with that. So it would. That would be monumental news if that happened. They threw that piece out.
It could be possible that they make him relook at it.
Yeah, I wasn't surprised warning labels eventually got thrown out because that struggled in other areas with warning labels. So I wasn't totally surprised about that. But SE, I think, is going to be a much bigger mountain to climb.
Mm-hmm. Anyway, we
just
will
to clarify.
Sure, yes. Wait, go ahead, Paul.
Just to clarify, Quentin said they do the virtual lounge after every KMA show, so there is an after party in the Smoke Inn virtual lounge. And Quentin, you'll share that to our KMA page, and we'll make sure to repost that for you.
There you go, and you got to.
There you go, awesome.
And with that, let's see. This week who belongs in a cigar insane asylum.
Before I get into the cigar insane asylum,
Paul's got to play the.
You got the audio. Let's hear it, man. I would love to hear it. Play it.
Well, you won't hear it.
Oh, I won't hear it. Well, should I keep talking? Is it playing?
No. Now it is, but wait, don't talk over it because there's stuff. Here it comes.
Welcome to the Cigar Asylum.
Did you know I'm utterly insane? We all go a little mad sometimes.
Where logic and reason cease to exist.
Okay, go ahead.
All right. So before I get into this asylum, I just want to mention another person from our Smoke Inn Virtual Lounge, Sean Miles of Idaho. Sean Miles says that he is the official Walmart greeter of the Smoke Inn Lounge, and I am not kidding. Since the day we built this lounge, he has had a static camera in the same position. Basically, it shows his like man cave area and the shelves behind him. And whether anybody's on or not, I go to there to visit sometimes, and that camera is on. He could be at work. I went the other night, and the camera was still on. The lights were off. Nobody was in the room. He's like, during quarantine, he was literally on it 24 hours a day. Like, he'd be working, and the camera would be there, And but he's the official Walmart greeter of the Smoke Inn Virtual Lounge. So I have to put a big thanks out to Sean Miles too.
The blue vest is in the mail.
The blue vest is in the mail. Red vest for us.
Red vest. Yeah, we'll get him a red vest. Yeah.
Okay, this week's Cigar Insane Asylum. This week's inductee either has a massive inferiority complex or he has some wild things going on in his personal life. It was a beautiful day Monday in Las Vegas. The sun was shining on the Deja Vu Love Boutique, and all was right in the world. Until a masked man, yes, a masked man,
as everyone should be,
everybody, walked into the store and picked up a 3-foot, 40-pound adult
dildo. I saw that
dildo, hoisted it over his shoulder, and walked out the front door. Video footage shows the man wasting no time as he walked in the store directly for the phallic statue and leaving with it immediately. Cool, calm, and collective.
He threw it over his shoulder.
Yeah.
Right off.
The man is still at large, and all that remains is the memory of once what was. If found with the $1,250 adult toy.
Oh, it has a name. It has a name, too. It's called Moby.
Wow. So if found with Moby, the $1,250 dildo, the man will surely face the harshest punishments of the penal code. Congratulations, dildo stealer. You are this week's inductee in the Cigar Insane Asylum. What are you going to do with a 40-pound dildo? I mean, of all things to steal.
Bring it to Ristafari.
Bring your couch too.
Oh my God!
I mean, you could put it in. You could put it in your passenger seat and drive in the HOV lane.
Seriously.
There you go.
Wow. But hey, I mean, it's just shocking. Is that's the item of interest, right? Of all the things you need to steal.
You over there doing that? Have you seen the video of him taking that?
Yeah, I was just gonna say we will post it.
He walked right in, beeline for it, threw it over his shoulder, walked right out of the fucking place. Didn't look at anyone. Just took it and left.
I mean, what are they going to do? They're probably the staff is probably sitting there like this.
Yeah.
It's a 15-second video where the guy just walks in casually, walks right up to it, picks it up, puts it over his shoulder, and just walks right out. Nobody stops him. Nobody says anything. Nobody it's hilarious.
It's an older gentleman that did it too. That's the funny part.
That's hilarious. Well, if we see it at Ristafari next year, we'll know who took it.
Mm-hmm.
Ronnie's got it.
Who do we got on next week?
Dylan Austin.
Ooh, interesting. Has anything of the rumors of his leaving Davidoff surfaced? Paul? Coop? Anything?
Don't point to me. I didn't put that story out there.
No, I didn't say you put the story out. I'm asking you any news that's come out, legitimate news. Is there any?
I believe the story was 100% false.
Okay.
Like right after that show, there were a few things that were checked, and I don't think there was any truth to that story. Usually you hear a thread to pull on. There was not even a thread to pull on with that.
I don't know, man. I've been in this industry long enough, and when rumors like that come out, it may not be right away, but sometimes they're... Listen, I remember when the sale of Drew Estate was talked about for months. Months. In fact, I think Jonathan ended up, getting mad because some social media guy posted and it was all false and stuff like that. And then
that was me.
That really wasn't you, was it?
I said he was selling it October 1st, but the real date was October 19th.
Yeah, and it ended up happening. So, I mean...
Usually stuff like that, it's on contract. You can say it on this day.
it's funny, but this is an industry where more often than not, rumor ends up being reality. More often than not, weirdly enough.
Well, and the source we got it from, which I guess we won't mention her name again, but the source we got it from is a credible source too. So that's why we actually talked about it.
I was just interested if anything had popped up outside of where we originally heard it from.
No, and we can talk to Dylan about it. We can talk to Dylan about it when he comes on.
Mm-hmm. I'll tell you this. Go ahead, Paul.
Dylan was the one that helped me get in touch with Klaas. So he put me in touch with him. He set up the whole date. Like I went through Dylan as we usually do with Davidoff people still. So that's something to be said as well.
What I was going to say, usually, when I hear something, I got to look at how I'm going to use my time, right? And if it's time to pull, if there's a thread to pull on, I got to decide if that's worth my time or not. Within 15 minutes, there was not even anything there was a direct thing we heard from Dylan on that. So if he was going to, maybe if there was something out there that he was leaving it imminently, wasn't true. So at that point, I just move on to something else.
Sounds like a plan.
Because there's not more you can do at that point if it's denied. And so I don't know what his long-term things are. That's a question to ask him, I guess.
We will definitely find out next week for certain with Dylan Austin, our guest from Davidoff USA. Riste, thank you for being here from your home.
Thanks for having me, man.
In Indiana. It's been an absolute pleasure once again. Hopefully we will get to see you again in person. Make sure you go check out.
Yeah, I would have flew down if it was possible just to do this.
Absolutely. We would have loved to have had you. Coop,
buy that goalie, too.
Buy a goalie.
Go buy the goalie. There's extremely limited quantities, and it's a very reasonably priced cigar. Hey, available now at smokeinn.com. Till then, and as always, everybody, ladies and gentlemen, keep it lit.
Peace.